the simulation. See, that's where I think people get it confused at.
So, 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 I mean, think about how would that simulation work? If it's if there's a program, right, that's creating me, that means it's creating you guys as part of my program. So you don't exist outside of my program. But I think you do. I think you're independent of me.
Yeah, yeah, that's part of the program. It's still a program, but it's a simulation.
Who's
It's
programmed though?
I don't know, the one who created the
That is
universe.
right.
The
So,
universe, because when you go to universe and then you go the planets and then you come down to us, we like the grain of salt that's like right here. So everybody, when they say simulation, they thinking of something like a computer, but no, this is a live simulation.
I agree.
It's a live simulation, so it's like it's took it to another level. Like when you go onto YouTube, it's simulated. It's right there. It's on YouTube, but you can go look at you. You can go look at him. You can go look at me. We all still different, but we still on YouTube. You feel me? We still on YouTube, but we still different people that are in that program on YouTube. So it's like that's the same thing here. So I think that's where we get it confused at.
Well, you get guys like Elon Musk, right? And he talks about kind of the hardcore simulation theory, where everything is created by basically one computer program. And I think the way he sees it is that some like Martian somewhere, right, created a program that is projecting all of this reality into basically you guys don't exist outside of my simulation. And I just don't believe that. I think it's a much more complex thing. I think you guys are real. I don't think it's a simulation.
Yeah. That's what I feel like.
I don't think I'm generating you, and
I feel like everybody is real, but I think the ones that they just took the simulation to a computer level, and it's not. This is like an organic, like a fucking live simulation. This is not when you look at a computer simulation. No, this is a live one, next level. Like,
well, and then the question becomes: do you have free will? Like, are you just operating according to some program that's predetermined, or can you actually change the future? Do you have the ability to
manipulate
a new reality? And I think we do.
I think we do. We totally do. That's why they call us like wizards, you know, like
wizards.
You can manipulate everything around you. You can control your like where you live, what you do, like what happens. You can actually control that. We just don't know it, you know. We don't realize that we can do that as much as we can.
Yeah, as much as we can. It's just trippy. Like, I'm just coming into this. I ain't no scientist or nothing. I'm just a brother from the hood that woke up and said, wait, what is going on?
Because even if you are a scientist, the thing that science can do is science can tell you to a certain extent what is happening, but can never say why it's happening.
But just think, like, on another level, like, in this form, the things that we know in this form, the feel, the touch, and all these things, in the astral form, these are things that you don't feel and sense. These are things that it's not there. Like, you just probably try to touch yourself, you probably just go through yourself. You know what I'm saying? For some reason, why? It's like when you take the LSD, it gets you connected back to senses and why you came here, for those feelings and to feel and the touch and and there's certain things that seem like, and I don't know, bro. Maybe I'm just losing my mind.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I be feeling like I'm losing my mind because it's like I understand and I get it, but I want to believe what everybody's telling me. I don't want to believe what I see right now.
You gotta believe what you see.
Yeah.
I know, I do, but I don't believe nothing.
Because people are gonna put ideas into your head and try to change what you think and make you think about how they think. You have to think how you, like, what you see, what you feel, what you're experiencing. That's all you.
And the thing that's so hard for people who haven't done psychedelics to even fathom, right, is they live in such a boring black and white world, and they don't have any conception of the just incredible complex beauty that's out there. So basically, if someone who hasn't done psychedelics, I don't have a whole lot of faith in anything they say, really, because they just don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Exactly, they don't.
They live in such a small world with such a limited range of
possibilities. So black and white, you know what I mean?
All black and literally though, that's literal. black and white.
Yep.
Because like
Really?
that's
You don't
thing
see the
that I
colors,
always-
you know, you don't see the color.
Yeah, it's
boring
literally
version.
when I say
Yeah.
literally black and white, it's like okay, everything is black. Oh, you're seeing stuff because you know it's your skin, it's your melanin. It's because you black, and it's like what the fuck is you talking about? Like everybody is seeing this stuff.
I know you get these guys who who have never done psychedelics, these psychiatrists and psychologists, and they're all like, oh well, you're just imagining that because the brain, has for some reason wants us to, think certain ways about archetypal gestures and things. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? So like people like create these really elaborate constructs to explain something really simple. What the really simple thing is that the brain is much more complex than we give it credit for. And when you do psychedelics, you can tap into all these other dimensions that are really there. It's that simple. And to try to explain it away with all this bullshit is just literally bullshit.
Bullshit.
Yeah, that's why I don't listen. I say it over and over again. Look, Kemet, Egypt. It's only certain things I take in. I don't take in all the. Well, this is that, and and you gotta believe in the different energies. Yeah, I know about that shit. Like I seen it, I felt it. Like we felt it. We just felt it just now, and we felt the whole ocean and felt the whole everything. And it's like, bruh, like I don't know. It's a whole different. It's a whole different thing going on. Like sometimes I be thinking that it's the plants that's actually trying to.
I went through that too, man. Yeah, where they're in charge.
Yeah, dude, I feel like they are because
They
this
are.
is their world. Dude,
Absolutely.
we've been added, inserted into this place right here. This is their world, man.
Yep.
If you think about it, they always like when you see like apocalyptic movies, they always end up taking over the buildings. They always end up taking over everything, and they rebuild and they they control the planet. Really,
If you look
this is their
out there,
planet.
look, you see more plants and shit than anything. So the plants could easily, if everybody stopped taking care of all that stuff and just left, the plants would cover all that stuff over like it's nothing.
I remember after a couple of breakthroughs, early breakthroughs, I would always come out and immediately call someone, call one of my kids or call my ex-wife or call a friend and say, you're not going to believe this, blah, blah, blah. And several times I was like, the plants are in charge. The plants are in charge. This is
They made us. The plants made us.
And then I started thinking that this whole like opiate crisis is basically the plants, because opiates come from
That's so
plants.
true. I thought about that.
The plants are using the opiates to get rid of all these fucking people that are just polluting the damn planet.
It's like as actually like the planet made certain things to keep a balance.
Right.
Like the plants keep us balanced, we keep this balance, and because you see the plants, the acacia plant, like I was saying, the ants that protect the acacia tree from like different animals eating on it and stuff, and the ants actually think this is what they want to do, but actually it's programming it into them to do these things, and it's like,
yeah,
hold on.
Plants really do. When you get into that realm, the plants really do seem to be like,
the Aztecs,
the puppet master.
Yeah, you think about the Aztecs and the ones back when they were like committing human sacrifices and stuff like that. It all kind of makes sense. Because the plants get mad, be like, yeah, kill each other. You gotta sacrifice somebody to the gods every once in a while, or I'm gonna bring a fire down and it's gonna blow all this shit up.
That's true. The planet is alive, man.
Yeah,
the planet is definitely alive. Like, it actually controls everything that happens to us, and we don't even realize it.
Then we get to sit here and talk about stuff and enjoy it and take these weird trips.
It's a beautiful spot.
I love it. Off your shoes.
Yeah, thank you.
I've been coming here since I was 16, bro. No, actually, the first time I was here, I was like 15. I'm like 33 now.
So, are we making any progress with these trips? Like,
I feel like we all have a piece of a puzzle, and we're like all these videos that we make are slowly like helping piece certain things together to help us figure out what the bigger picture is. But it just makes like a lot of. We need more. The more people, the better, because everybody has a small piece of the puzzle, kind of.
Right. And I think this, still a relatively small number of people have done DMT compared to mushrooms and acid.
That's
right?
exactly.
And I thought I had seen it all, taking mushrooms. And, I've mainly taken mushrooms. Last time I took acid was, 10 years ago with Burning Man or something. But when I did DMT, it was a whole different thing. Like, just off the charts. Totally something I got to devote my life to. So, when suddenly there are 1 million people or 10 million people doing DMT on a regular basis, it's going to change the world.
Yeah,
There's just
it's gonna
no doubt about
change
it.
Have you
And
had
we're
those?
really in the early stages of this.
Have you had those trips where you took off and you forgot about this place?
Well, yeah, a lot of them are that way.
Yeah.
When you come back, you be like,
Just feels
rock,
very foreign
tree.
to me.
Everything that when you have a breakthrough, it changes. Like everything I thought I knew about the world was like sort of true, but only a really tiny piece of the big picture. And then once you see that larger picture, you realize, oh shit, okay, and we're supposed to be in touch with the spirit world, and somehow, people say it's like fluoride in the water calcifies your pineal gland, and so your body doesn't make natural DMT. There's something that we're doing wrong, because we used to be in touch with the spirit world. The ancients, the Indians, the Native Americans, they weren't just like imagining the spirit world when they would go out and pray to the gods and all their rituals. That wasn't just like they didn't have like a general feel that they were spirits. They saw the spirits.
Mm-hmm.
So
They
why
drew
were
them.
they
They
able
drew
to see them as adults, and we can't? What are we doing in our diets or way of life where we've lost touch with that?
That's what I was saying. The culture that they give us, as when we come into this culture, is creating some other stuff, but it trips me out too, because like the Indians, remember when it wasn't raining, it get dry, they all come together and do the rain dance and it start raining. They can control the weather, they can control different things. We can't do that no more. We rely on technology to do all these things.
And that's working out well.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. But that energy source that's out there, we're gonna figure it out. It's gonna take a while.
I think it's gonna, I think this is gonna be one of those revolutions though. Build slowly and then takes off.
And then takes off.
Because DMT is just it's such a brief thing. It's so easy to do, and so just earth shattering.
You can be in and out
You just get in and out.
in no time. And then the understanding it gives you is that's what I never could get that. Like I like me coming from somebody who don't read, don't go out and study and do none of that shit. It's like it just comes now.
Yeah, you just have the direct experience. Of it,
It's like, and it's years of study right there.
Right there.
In 15
Absolutely.
minutes.
You
In
just
15
see how
minutes.
things are.
But that origami shit, that's what they was doing. And I'm looking at the origami video. This dude took one piece of paper and made a whole plant with a fucking vase and everything. And he like, look at that. That's one piece of paper. And I'm going, wait. But if you think about if our reality was on something like that was like a sheet of paper that was being drawn on or something like that. But I'm talking about in a whole different way, like not the way that we look at a sheet of paper. Because when we look through these things, that's what I be feeling like. I'm looking through a sheet of paper, looking off some paper at something else that's in a whole different 4D, 5D dimension or something like that.
Right.
And I'm looking off this paper, they just drew me, and I'm like, what the hell's going on?
That's always the amazing thing when you go into those other realms where you see more than, like there are more dimensions there.
And you can actually see it, which
And
is
you want,
just
like,
crazy.
You see the most amazing things, you're like, that's not possible, but it is, like it's there,
It's
I can
there.
see it, so it is possible.
Yeah.
How can they do that and we can't?
Then that's when you go crazy. Everybody be like, yeah, you crazy. And you be
But
like,
you're not crazy if you see it.
yeah, I am. Like, really, because you got the crazy people that the ones they call some of the homeless people that walk around, they see this shit all the time.
Oh, because a lot of them are schizophrenic.
Yeah.
And they, schizophrenic, in the urine of schizophrenics, they found DMT.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So schizophrenics are walking around in the DMT world.
Constantly.
Yeah, and some of them have other, there are other neurotransmitters that get out of whack. So some of them, I think, like paranoid schizophrenics, I think have probably a lot of extra dopamine too, as well as DMT. But they're in that DMT world.
Yeah. And they know how to control it too. That's what gets me. Is that they walk around, they know how to control it. They know how to cross the street without getting hit by a car. They know how to ask you for change right on time. As soon as you're going by, they snap up out of it. Hey, you got a quarter? As soon as you be like, nah, I ain't got no quarter, they go back talking. Yeah, because like I was saying, it's like, ain't nobody even there. What do you mean? What are you doing? Like they snap out of it and come back into this reality fast and go right back into that one. And it's like, what the fuck?
Have you done ayahuasca?
Not yet.
Oh, we need to go take a trip
Oh,
to
I
South
did
America.
ayahuasca.
Dude.
No, I did it out in Joshua Tree.
I'm going there on the 9th this month. The 9th to 11th. I'm going there to Joshua Tree.
For a session or for just for fun?
To go camping,
cool.
but I'm gonna go
that's
do a
great.
session.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm going with the guy that makes it, the
Oh,
DMT.
cool.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
my buddy.
I went out there and did a ceremony, and I had all kinds of experience like vape and DMT, so I went in there thinking, oh, this is gonna be easy, or like no problem. When it came on, I panicked. I grabbed all my stuff and I ran out to go get in my car to leave because I thought that the whole thing had been set up as a trap where they were gonna kill me. And so the guy sees me running out. He starts to kind of laugh, and he sort of locks the door and says, "Look, everything's fine. Every once in a while, somebody grabs all their shit and tries to run out here." And I was like, and I was sure he was going to kill me, but I'm like, oh, fine, I'm going to get killed. So I just went back, put my stuff down, and expected to be killed. And then, about a half hour later, I was like, okay, I don't think I'm going to be killed. And then I was able to get into it, and it was fantastic.
Oh, I want to do this so bad.
I mean, like being in that world for 5 hours, 6 hours. You can do another dose if you want to upgrade.
And it just keep you in there?
Keeps
Or
you in
you'll
there.
go further?
We were in there from like 11 o'clock at night till like 5 in the morning.
See, that's me.
And it was.
I'll take another one.
You gotta go further and further, you know? What was like the main thing you got out of that trip, like that ayahuasca trip?
Well, it was the main thing I got is that there is this spirit world, and that there's this huge intelligence out there that wants the best for us, and that sometimes you just have to put your trust in God and not be stressed out about stuff, If you just go with the sort of the nicest way forward, the most generous way forward, be generous to other people, and it just seems like it comes back to you, If you're nice to other people, they're nice to you back.
Like karma.
Karma really works, and if you put faith in it,
I believe
you're not
in
going to
it.
get burned.
That's why I'm always
in
like
America,
positive with everybody.
America, no one really buys into karma. It's more like, hey, I got to get paid up front.
Mm-hmm.
I don't buy karma crap. I'm going to get paid later.
They don't respect it.
I don't know. I still don't believe in karma.
I believe in it. It happens every day.
Some of the, like the closed eye visions that I had on ayahuasca were just so, it's like I watched the entire history of humanity, all the religious wars, just all played out. People getting hung and sacrificed, and basically like the whole of human history, bad things and good things. Just watch like the moon landing and stuff. The whole thing just like played out. It's like, oh, that's how it works. Oh yeah, okay, I see why that happened. Oh yeah, and it all like made sense, It's so beautiful. Seeing just these like ocean scenes where you're just kind of being underwater and having tuna swim up to you and then swim past, and just as clear as you see it on Discovery Channel or something. It's right there with your eyes closed, watching it all happen. It's so beautiful. The sound of like people vomiting, it sounded like I felt like I was an animal in the zoo, because you'd be in your own little world watching this stuff happening, and then your neighbor three beds down is like farting, It really was like being in a zoo. You really felt like humans. You could really feel like the animal nature
Animalistic,
of humans, even though we're all in there in our clothes and have these fixtures of humanity. But really, we're just animals. We're just like animals, like everything.
Straight up. That's the one thing people don't believe. They don't want to believe that we animals. And we know these bodies come from this planet. Like you get that what do you call you get that animalistic feeling, like you feel like some type of carnivore, like lion or tiger, like you just like when you come out, it's just like, like where's the beef? Like fuck. Like I hate when I get that because I don't eat beef no more, but I be wanting to eat meat like y'all. When y'all went and got the burgers, I was like, fuck, that shit smell good. But I'm like, I can't eat meat no more. I'm
I like that you were
Because
able to control yourself like that.
feeling
That
about
was
not
good.
wanting to kill animals. I mean,
No, hell no. We made them for that. We made them to eat
so
their
why
ass.
don't you want to eat beef?
Because once I stopped eating it, the smell is
Oh,
just
okay.
nasty.
Yeah, because I go through that too. I mean, I really don't like the corporate farming type stuff where we raise animals in terrible conditions just to kill them.
I
That
hate
seems
that.
really mean.
Very cruel.
But it does seem like, you know, if you watch in nature, you know, hawks are eating rabbits and like nature consumes itself. So I don't feel so bad about eating animals and stuff. Like especially once you realize that the plants are just as alive as animals. Like veganism is no walk in the park either because you're eating those live plants.
Exactly. Everything.
When the tiger, look, when the lion eating them, they don't complain. They just be looking like.
And also, once you know that, like when an animal dies, it goes into the spirit world too. Like, so in a way, it's a release. You know, you don't have to.
They don't have to suffer anymore.
Didn't go back, but I like it was just one mushroom trip that I had that was so intense when I came out. It was like that's what you made them for. And it's like, what the fuck? What do you mean? That's what I made them for. That's what you made animals for. Like some of them you just made to eat. You know what I mean? It's like, okay. I get it, but I don't at the same time. It's like I understand, but I don't really understand.
It's like who made these rules, you know? Like why is it?
I didn't even make these kids by myself. I'm just saying, it took for me to go find her and her and her and her and her and her.
How many mothers, baby mothers have you got?
5, 4.
You?
Well, yeah, 4.
Wow, look at you.
He's busy. Busy guy.
I was busy. But it's like, whoa. It's a beautiful thing, though. That's 360 down. They're going to be like, oh, I fucking hate you guys.
What is that?